This recording is to give you some tips about how to make a good grade on the short writing assignment number 1. It's very important to follow these instructions if in fact you want to make a good grade on this assignment. And so I'm going to show you a few things from the modules page where you can find the assignment. All right, so let's begin. The first thing I want to tell you is that there is some required reading. That required reading is something you should do before you start writing your paper. Okay, it's only 1 page. And so you need to read these 3 articles. 5 Reasons America is not and has never been a Christian nation. Why we are not one nation under God. And the print news talking about David Barton, who was one of the main proponents for this idea that the United States was based on the Bible or the Constitution and all that kind of stuff. It's just not true. And so I want you to read these 3 articles first. It's very important. Don't write your paper until you've read these 3 articles. That's one of the important tips I want to give you if you really want to get a good grade. Because if I can sense that as I read your assignment or your paper that you haven't read the articles, then I'm going to take points off, because this is required. You have to read these before you start writing your paper. The other thing I want to emphasize is that your paper should be formatted in such a way that you can get as much of what you want to say on 1 page and 1 page alone. And so I've provided you with a template. That is to say, you can use this Word document to be able to write your paper. So you don't have to try to figure out how to format your document. I've provided you with a Word file that you can cut and paste, or you can type right on it and prepare your assignment. All right, I want to show that to you. All right, and so this is what it looks like. It's going to only have 1 singular page. You'll notice, and I'm going to point out some things. I'm going to give you a little close-up and let you see what it looks like. It has a heading, and I should mention that every paper that you turn in, a vocabulary assignment, and your writing assignments must all have a complete heading. Okay, if you submit a paper that has no heading, then I'm not going to grade it, and I'm going to send you a note or an email, or I'll give you a 0 until you can resubmit it with a heading. So let's get it right the first time. All right, so let's take a closer look at this document. Okay, now there's no one in the class named Joe Schmo. All right, and so, but this is how your heading should look. Now you'll notice that the spacing, well, first thing you should note is that the margin on the left side is justified, but on the right side it's not justified. It's only left justified. Do not do a full justification on your paper. It reduces how many words you can fit on the page. And so it's formatted where it's 1 inch on both sides, left justified. You'll notice that your heading has whether you're meeting at a certain time, the title of the document, your name. I've had so many students turn in papers that don't have a name on it. So if you don't have a complete heading, I'm just not going to correct it. I'll put a 0 there until you can resubmit it with a proper heading. So let's make sure that every assignment that you turn in has a proper heading. The next thing I want you to notice is that the body of your document or your writing assignment, whether it be a 1-page assignment or the 3 to 5 page assignment, which comes later on in the semester, it should be double spaced. Okay? So that's important. It must be double spaced. And that's already formatted. The other thing you'll notice is that each paragraph is indented 1/2 inch. These are the conventions I expect every paper that you submit should have. It should have all of these elements. Now, it will have these elements if you use the template that I supplied for you. However, if you want to do it yourself or do your own document, make sure that your document has these features in your formatting. One other thing, and that is all papers, well, your vocabulary assignments don't have to have this format, but your writing assignments must have this format. And the other thing that you should know is that the font should be Times New Roman. Let me say that again. Times New Roman. That's your font. And it should be 12 point. Okay, 12 point Times New Roman. Now, let's move on. I want to see if we can get to this other part of the paper. We're going down to the bottom. Now, the other thing I want you to note is that every writing assignment must have some type of citation, some work that you've read, something that, some document. Now, since I provided you reading assignments required, you can use any of those or all of those as your works cited. Or if you want to place something else as your works cited, you're welcome to do that. However, every paper that you submit, even if it's your opinion must be supported by some scholarly or reputable source material. And that doesn't mean you got to quote the Bible or something like that. No, I'm saying that you must put some or have some support for your point of view or your opinion or whatever assertion that you're making. Because sometimes students will state things that are actually not true. But somebody said it, or you heard it in the barbershop, or your pastor said it in the pulpit. That might be good for the pulpit, but it's not good enough for class. So make sure that you have some qualified works cited. And you'll notice that your works cited is only single space, not double space, because you don't want to waste space with your works cited and then not have enough space to fit what you want to say on one page. Now, I want to make sure you understand what I'm saying. I know that sometimes you have a lot to say, or there are things you want to say, or you can't say it all on one page. You're going to have to cut out or edit out all of the fluff things. When I consider all of the thoughts and I was dreaming one night. No, just get to the point as quickly as you can, and don't try to write a dissertation or try to say several things. Focus on the main points you want to make that point, and then conclude your document. On all of our one-page papers, the hardest part is limiting what you're trying to say to one page. So make sure that if you find that it's going to spill over and you don't have room to put your works cited, something's going to have to be edited out, and just focus on the key point that you want to make in your one-page essay. All right. If you go beyond a page, I'm going to take a half a point off, because one of the key things that I find with college students is that they tend not to follow instructions. And if you can't follow this simple instruction, I'm going to penalize for that. I want you to get your point across in one page, maybe 2 or 3 paragraphs. Get it said, get it done, turn it in. And if you can follow those instructions, I guarantee you'll make a good grade, especially if you cite or have some kind of qualified, appropriate support for whatever assertions you make in your paper. I hope you have a good semester. Remember, this assignment is going to be due very quickly, within a week after we start class. So you might as well get started on it as soon as possible. And by the way, the last thing I'll tell you before I close this video out is you do not have to have your textbook to be able to do this assignment. All you need are those three articles that I gave you. And if you choose to look up something else or provide some other source, whatever source you choose, that's fine. But you do not need your textbook to be able to do this assignment. All right? So hopefully you'll do a good job on this first short writing assignment.